Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. I am very sorry yesterday we were supposed to have our evening session, but our local DM had come, local IAS officer who is the collector of the city Varanasi. So he was on visit. So he was here for 1.5 hours with his son, and also this Dabar family, one person who's present locally. So he was also there. So then it was like it was an extended visit, so it was not planned to be so long, but they stayed for quite long. So that is how it became 8 o'clock, and so suddenly the session had to be cancelled. So good. It gives us more reasons for meeting today. So let us begin today's session. This is our session 5th. I'll share the screen. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साधुवैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतिशे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण। So today we are seeing the 5th session. This is the 5th chapter of the Gita, and this is a very good chapter because this will tell us about the title of this chapter is Karma Yoga in Krishna consciousness, which means how do we perform action in bhakti. So let us begin this. So last time we had discussed about the 4th chapter of the Gita, and if you remember that we had discussed 4 lessons, years, EARS. Just like prior to that, we had seen the 4 lessons as tree, right? So this last time we had seen EARS. What was the EARS? Years. E means eternal education, right? We saw that how in Parampara, Krishna says, Evam Parampara Praptam, Imam Rajarasho Vidu, Sakale Nehamata, Yogo Nashta Parampara. So the Vidya, what is there in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, that is eternal. And that comes in the line of disciplic succession, like Guru Shishya. So Krishna is the Guru of originally Brahmaji, and Brahmaji was student of Krishna, disciple of Krishna, but Guru of Narada. Then Narada was disciple of Brahma and Guru of Vyasa. So then in that chain of disciplic succession, it comes down, the knowledge comes down. You might remember we had discussed the example of this people who pluck mangoes from the tree. So there's a chain of 4-5 people. So there's a man on the ground, then there's a man above, like on the trunk of the tree. Then there is someone on the branch. Then there is someone on the end point where the fruits are there. So he plucks one fruit. If it throws directly down, it might fall and it might break and thus become useless. So what he does, he plucks the fruit, carefully hands it down to the person below him, who then accepts it carefully, and then he passes it down to the person below him. And like this, the fruit comes to the end customer also. The last person, like the customer who is going to take it in the sabji market and eat it. You might have observed, if you go in the fruit market or vegetable market, if you go early morning, like when they are just setting up their shops, so you will find that they have their tokri, then they have the fruits and the other things. So they'll keep one fruit very carefully. They keep, like, they'll stack it very nicely. Chota mango idhar, bada mango idhar, okay. So the fruit has to be handled carefully. Otherwise, it may break. Then nobody will be able to take use of it. So the knowledge, the spiritual knowledge, comes in parampara, where they carefully hand it over to the next generation. Second is accurate understanding. So by Krishna's mercy, if we accept the knowledge in parampara, then we can get very clear understanding, very accurate understanding. Even today, what was available to Arjuna in the pure form 5,000 years back, as he heard from his spiritual master, that is Krishna, similarly we can get that accurate understanding even today in parampara when we accept. Third was removing reactions. So how Krishna explained to them that actually when you act on Krishna's behalf, that time reactions will not come. Just like a soldier who kills somebody on the behalf of the government, he's rather given a medal. So in our life, whether we do business and whether we do studies, whether we are grahastha, brahmachari, whether we're Indian, American, male, female, devotee means he is dependent upon the Lord, and then the Lord takes away all the reactions of his life if he is willing to follow Krishna's instructions. And the fourth was sacrifice. This sacrifice was not balidan, as in like giving up something, but this sacrifice was offering to Krishna, offering service to Krishna, offering things of this world to Krishna, trying to please Krishna. So by whatever external activity may be there. So meaning to say, doing yajnas, doing temple worship, chanting of God's names, like Harinam Sankirtan, as the devotees chant, na? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So all these things are considered to be sacrifices, yajnas. Okay. So now we are entering into the 5th chapter. So this is a preliminary breakage of the different verses of 5th chapter. What are they? You can have a look at your screen. So in the section 1, we have 1st to 6th verse about Nishkama Karma Yoga. So you might remember that previously Krishna asked Arjuna to renounce. Arjuna asked Krishna that he would like to renounce doing such a work as killing so many people in the battlefield. So then Krishna says, no, no, don't renounce, because renouncing would be artificial. Okay. So then Arjuna is telling, oh, then should I fight like Arjuna, like Duryodhana is fighting, for all selfish purposes? So in this chapter, so in the third chapter, Krishna told Arjuna that how you're a Kshatriya, you should fight. And then he also gave hint that you should fight, but for me. So in this chapter especially, Krishna is going to talk about how everyone should do his work, should do his duties in this world. But for whom? For Krishna, not for themselves. They should not just act. They should act for Krishna. Okay. So see, acting for ourselves is the worst. Not acting, sorry. Yeah, acting for ourselves is the worst. Better than that is not acting only, not doing any action, not doing any activity. And better than that is acting for Krishna. Okay. So again, I'll say acting for ourselves selfishly is the worst. And then not doing any action is better than that, but is not the best. And then the best is acting for Krishna, acting for others. Okay. So that we'll see in this chapter. Then 7th to 12th verses are about how to perform Nishkam Karma Yoga. So first 6 verses are about Nishkam Karma Yoga. Second 6 verses are about how to perform Nishkam Karma Yoga. And then 13 to 16, 4 verses are about platform of knowledge. And 17 to 26 are about liberation. How liberation? Because after getting knowledge of this world, one should be able to focus on Bhagwan, Super Soul. And then 27th and 28th verse are about liberation through Ashtanga Yoga. So this actually 27th verse onwards, in one sense, it is the part of 6th chapter. Like 6th chapter is beginning a little early in one sense. Okay. And the last section, 6th section, is about how to attain peace. What is a peace formula in this world? So let us see this. Let us begin this 5th chapter. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah. So in this chapter also, we have a simple acronym of 4 lessons. And what are they? They are STEP. STEP means first is S, that is stay in the world. So you may say, Arey, what is this lesson? Stay in the world means? Yeah. If this means you stay in the world, but with your consciousness and with your activities, you can be resident of spiritual world. Like for example, somebody may be staying in Pakistan, but if he is staying in the Indian embassy, then he can actually, in one sense, be staying in India only, because inside the Indian embassy, all the rules and regulations, all the standards, all the protocols, that will be Indian. In fact, the local Pakistani government will not have their administrative powers or their disciplinary powers, their police powers within that within the jurisdiction of that embassy. Similarly, while we are in this world, if we are able to behave like the residents of spiritual world, then actually staying in this world is not a problem. So we'll see this. Okay. This is the first lesson. Second lesson is T, 3 doers. So who are the 3 doers? We'll have a look. Third lesson is E. E means equal vision. Equal vision means, especially this denotes the verse 5.19, where Krishna gives a lesson of how should we see different living beings in this world. How should we see them equally? Like they are all equally dear to Krishna. Okay, how? And then the last one, P. P is the one single shloka, that is the conclusive one, 5.29. So this is one of the most famous verses of the Gita. And when Srila Prabhupada was invited in one place to speak on peace, that how the world can attain peace, so Prabhupada spoke from this verse. And in his book, Science of Self-Realization, Prabhupada has written one article based on this. 5.29, wherein he explains that simply if people accept this one shloka of the Gita, then there can be peace for all time to come in this world. So what is this peace formula? They are searching for peace in India, Pakistan, Israel, Palestine, America, Russia. So how this peace would come? What is it which is missing right now? So these things we'll see in this. So yeah. So now let us begin. This is the first shloka of chapter 5th. Arjuna uvacha sannyasam karmanam Krishna punaryogam cha shamshasi yashreya etayorekam tanme brudhi sunishchitam. Krishna recommends the spirit of renunciation in work, sannyas in karma, but not renunciation of work, sannyas of karma. Thus, karma is superior to jnana. Krishna explains this deeply in this chapter. Okay, so what is Krishna talking about? What is the mystery of sannyas in karma, but not sannyas of karma? So, see what Krishna is asking Arjuna, because Arjuna in the first verse was asking Krishna that, see, Krishna, first of all, you told me to renounce work. Then you told me to work with devotion. So I am a little confused. What I have to do? He's telling I am a little confused. Do I have to do work or should I not do work? Then Krishna is trying to explain to him in these first 12 verses. So what is Krishna trying to explain to him? Krishna is telling you don't have to renounce the work itself. Karma or our kartavya or our duties, our actions should never be renounced. Which means if Arjuna was a Kshatriya, he was a fighter, he should go on fighting throughout his life. Never should there be a time when Arjuna should stop fighting. Which means battle may happen, administration of the kingdom may be there, and Arjuna should never give up these duties. Krishna is telling you should always continue to do these duties. But what is Krishna telling? Krishna telling you should take sannyas in karma, which means we do karma, we do activities for Krishna as per our rule. But we take sannyas from selfishness. Okay. Like you see, sometimes a mother and father, they are doing so many activities. They are trying to do some work to earn some money for their children, for their family. So I have seen such fathers who don't spend anything for themselves. Like nothing they will bring. Any wonderful clothes or any gadgets, any new vehicles and other things. Nothing. But what they do their response. They do hard work very much so that they can serve their family members very nicely. See, this means he has not taken sannyas from his duty. He has not renounced his duty. He's doing his duty. But he has taken renunciation from selfishness. I hope that's clear. So Krishna is telling you take renunciation from doing actions in your life for yourself. Do not renounce doing your duties, but renounce the selfishness part of doing your duty, which means I do it for myself. No. Just like Duryodhana was acting selfishly and Arjuna was acting selflessly. Arjuna had no interest in fighting. He was in fact telling that I don't want to fight. But Krishna is trying to convince him, please fight for me. Please fight for dharma. Please fight for the sake of all the people who will otherwise be exploited by Duryodhana. Okay. So Arjuna actually was taking sannyas in karma. In what sense? He was doing karma. He was willing to do his duties, but he had nothing selfish to gain from it. He wanted to do it for Krishna. Okay. So that is the meaning of spirit of renunciation in work, not of work. Do not renounce work itself. Do it for Krishna. Like sometimes the parents will say, "Beta, हमारे लिए आप पढ़ लो, हमारे लिए आप ऐसा कर लो, वैसा कर लो," like that. So thus, karma is superior to jnana. Why karma is superior to jnana? Because you can do karma for the pleasure of Krishna. Like some people in India, they feel that spiritual life means simply ज्ञान. जब भी आपको गीता आना चाहिए अच्छे से, आपको ये आना चाहिए, वो आना चाहिए. Many people they come to temple, they say, "Oh, you people know this, you people are doing this." But actually, honestly speaking, uh, willingness to serve Krishna is far more important than knowledge and scholarship and abilities. Somebody who knows that in Gita this is given, that is given, one should serve the Lord, this and that. But one who is not willing to serve Krishna, so he makes zero advancement in spiritual life. But one who has developed seva bhav, okay, I am willing to do anything for Krishna, then that person is more dear to Krishna. Okay. So let us see this. Karma yoga is equal to but easier than sannyas. So karma yoga and sannyas, they are equal only. How they are equal? Because in both of them, one will not get reaction of this world. Like for example, if I don't do any activity or if I act on behalf of government, in either case, I'll not get jail, right? आपको आया समझ में? जैसे I am a soldier, so I am using my gun on behalf of Indian government to kill enemy soldiers of Pakistan. This is one option. Second is I don't do anything. I like I might be having a gun, I might not be having, but I'll not do anything. I'll not use it for on behalf of Indian government, and I'll not use it for myself also. And third is I use the gun, but for myself. I want to kill my neighbor because he's troubling me. Okay, so three options. I have the gun, I use it for Krishna. I have the gun or I don't have, but I will not use it. And third is I have the gun and I will use it for myself. Okay. So you see, when I use the gun for myself, I will get reaction. Police will put me behind the bars. And when I use it for, when I use the gun for the government, or when I'm myself like not doing anything. So in both the cases, at least I will be safe from the reaction of doing it. So in that sense, karma yoga and sannyas, they are one and the same. But actually they are not one and the same, because karma yoga is higher than simply renouncing the work. जैसे आपको रास्ते में 1 लाख का चेक दिखा, अरे 1 लाख का चेक किसका है, ये तो ब्लैंक चेक है ना. नाउ आप चाहो तो you yourself can use it, pick it up, put your name and use it, or better than that is you leave it on the road itself. Okay, whoever it belongs to, that person will come and accept it. And third is you pick it up, you try to contact the person like whose name and account the check is from, which bank. So you contact those people, and then they have this system of calling the person, and so the point is that better than using it for oneself, best is that we leave the check. But better than just leaving the check is to do some endeavors and to return it to whom it belongs. So it belongs to somebody, and if we make some endeavor, then we can actually return that check to him. So simply taking sannyas is like giving up the things of this world. Oh, this laptop doesn't belong to me, it is God's, so I'm taking sannyas from the laptop. Oh, this woman doesn't belong to me, so I'm taking sannyas from the woman. So whatever, one may have all these notions, right? But better than all that is Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means, so what I'll do, I'll renounce. No? But more than that, better than that, I'll use it for Krishna's service. So Karma Yoga and Sannyas are one and the same in the sense that in that we are not affected by any kind of material reactions of using it selfishly. But Karma Yoga is higher. Why? Because if I use it for Krishna, then I get Krishna's blessings also. It's like returning that card, that check to whom it belongs. So better than just leaving it on the road, you pick it up, find out to whom it belongs, and return it to him. He'll be so much touched also. Okay. So mere renunciation is difficult without performing Nishkam Karma Yoga. So Sankhya Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Karma Sannyas, they are all same. This is not Karma Yoga. See it carefully. It is Karma Sannyas. Karma Sannyas means I give up my general activities. Okay, I just वो कहते हैं ना विरक्ति ले ली, बाबा जी बन गए, हमने विरक्ति ले ली, संन्यास ले लिया. So now you will not have anything to give and take with karma. जैसे वो क्रिकेट संन्यास, प्लेयर्स लेते हैं ना क्रिकेट संन्यास. क्रिकेट संन्यास मतलब अब मैं क्रिकेट नहीं खेलूंगा. सो कर्म संन्यास मीन्स अब मैं कर्म नहीं करूंगा. तो ऐसे कई सारे ज्ञानी हो जाते हैं, और ज्ञानियों में भी एक होते हैं सांख्य, sorry, they're not jnanis, you can say there is a sankhya yogis. Sankhya yogis means, so they have a system of learning, but they are highly based on numbers. Okay, which means they do analytical study of material body and soul. What is the meaning of analytical study of material body and soul? जैसे अगर आपके सामने खीर है तो आपको तुरंत खीर खाने का मन करेगा. Oh, I should eat this sweet rice. Now, if you get attracted to kheer, or you get attracted to cake. Okay, so you're getting attracted to cake. But if you think about the cake, like what is the cake? Okay, इसमें baking soda है, इसमें sugar है, इसमें wheat है, मैदा है, like whatever 5-6 items. So if somebody keeps those 5-6 items in front of you on your table, you will not get attracted to them. कोई attract होता है क्या आटे के प्रति, baking soda के प्रति, sugar के प्रति? Nobody gets attracted. But when they are mixed in certain fashion, so it becomes cake, and then you are attracted. Okay, similarly, you see woman's body, so we are attracted to woman's body, but if you break it down to its constitutional elements, then what does a woman's body consist of? It consists of blood, bones, stool, urine, skin, and all these things, right? So now, or see, woman's body means man's body is also made up of these things. I'm just telling woman, just a representation of saying, for woman it can be man, and for man it can be woman. So if you see a woman's body, it consists of all those things, right? But when you see it in the package of being a girl, you get attracted. Sankhya Yoga means you break it down to its elements, break it down to its elemental components. ठीक है, वुमेन को जब आप देख रहे हो आपकी आंखों के सामने, अरे कितनी सुंदर हीरोइन है, सो अट्रैक्टिव एक्ट्रेस, but in the next moment you should think of that, okay, in her body what all things are there. Oh my god, it's all dirty. If somebody keeps all the ingredients of a woman's body in front of you, oh my god, they will smell so bad, and look so unpleasant. You will never get attracted to any woman at all. So material nature has done such packaging of our bodies. You remove that 1 millimeter layer of skin and it's all horrible inside. Even on the skin, there are so many dirty microbes and germs. But because our eyes are made in such a way that we are not able to see them without a microscope. And therefore, we can lovingly deal with each other. So the entire idea about Sankhya Yoga is that Sankhya Yoga says that you use your intellect to do an analytical study of material body and the entire world. And then slowly you'll realize कि there is no essence anywhere. You know, real essence of life is Krishna, and we are all spirit souls, and we are not the bodies. So this is called Sankhya Yoga. So similarly, you analyze material world also. Enter material world, you analyze, you'll clearly understand that we are not the body, we are the soul. There is a God called Krishna. There are these processes of going back to Krishna. So let me try to follow one of them. And another thing is Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga means you simply study the entire world, and you try to study the soul also, you try to study God also. So Sankhya Yoga actually can be converted to Bhakti Yoga, but Jnana Yoga can be very dangerous, because in Jnana Yoga one may ultimately focus on oneself rather than on God. Therefore, Sankhya Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Karma Sannyas are almost same only. Just the way is different. Karma Sannyas means, okay, I'll not get implicated in Papa and Punya. So I'll not do work of this world. Jnana Yoga means, I'll not do work of this world, but let me study the world. Let me study the possibilities of, me being soul and all. And then Jnana Yoga, one starts too much speculating about God also. And in Sankhya Yoga, as we discussed, one does an analytical study, like top to bottom approach. Karma, Sannyas, and Jnana Yoga, bottom to top approach. Okay, so let us go ahead. Now, what Krishna is suggesting is Nishkam Karma. Krishna is telling you don't have to do Jnana Yoga or Karma Sannyas, all these things. I would suggest you do Nishkam Karma. Now, what is this? Which means you act on my behalf. Do karma, but not for yourself. Nishkama. Nishkama means, like we say, niraprad, which means without aprad. Nishkama means without personal kamna, without any selfishness. So you come, you render service to me, you connect to me, but not for yourself, but for myself. Okay? Working in detached spirit. Okay, that is called Nishkam Karma. Like for example, a student gives exam. So if he understands that actually I am a student and now Krishna has given me this duty right now that I should study very nicely. So if he is getting affected by the marks which he gets in exams, then that is Sakam Karma Yoga. And if he is not affected by the marks which he gets in the exam, then that is Nishkam Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means I will endeavor for Krishna. I will offer something to Krishna, I will endeavor for Krishna. But I am not attached to the fruit. Whatever fruit comes, whatever result comes, that belongs to Krishna. I'm not attached to that. Like that. Very simple. So who is a Nishkam Karma Yogi? So then Krishna explained that we are servants of God. We have some work allotted by God to us. And we work hard in that work with sincerity, dedication, and our best ability. And the results, I hand it over to God. तो जैसे आप कोई जॉब करते हो तो आप जॉब अच्छे से करो, पढ़ाई करते हो पढ़ाई अच्छे से करो, वो आपका ड्यूटी है, कृष्ण ने आपको दिया. जैसे इनका अर्जुन का ड्यूटी क्या था? फाइट करना एज अ क्षत्रिय. बट जो रिजल्ट आया, लाइक नाउ अर्जुन एंड पांडवस won the kingdom in the end of the battle. So not like अभी कृष्ण तुम भाड़ में जाओ, अभी हम मजे करेंगे. No, not like that. So they used their position as kings to serve Krishna and to engage everyone in Krishna's service in their kingdom. Like that. Or like, for example, we do some business or some job, we get some money. Let us say I am getting, 70,000 rupees per month. So out of 70,000 rupees, at least 5,000 rupees, 7,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, or 20,000 rupees, I can give to Krishna. Why? Let Krishna's mission be, going on, spreading on. Let Krishna's message be propagated far and wide. That is the idea. So at least some part of our results of our activity we should offer to Krishna. So shifting our attitude from doership to divine, from ourselves to Krishna, eliminating the feeling of I did it or I only can do it. Like for example, we may think that we are digesting our food, but actually many times we want to digest, but it is not digesting, right? So that means without God's sanction, nothing can happen. Even for us to go to urine or stool, we need God's sanction. Otherwise, sometimes situation comes that you're not able to do it. Yeah. And also, a devotee understands that I should not take credit for my work. Like, for example, our intelligence, our IQ, the strength in our body, and even the elements with which we are doing things. Let us say अभी हम लैपटॉप चला रहे हैं ना, या फिर मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूँ मोबाइल से, या let us say मैं यहाँ पे टेबल के पास में बैठा हूँ, यहाँ हमारा टेम्पल है, यहाँ पे आश्रम है. So you see, even the elemental things are because of Krishna only. Elemental things means like we have this laptop. So laptop is made of plastic and metal and other things, right? Alloys and all. So why are these elements like iron and iron? So 2 moles of iron. Why are they connected to each other? They have some bonds now. Iron, metal to metal bond. So those bonds or the elements behave like iron is tough, right? Water is not tough, but iron is tough. Some elements are gases only. So if iron would not be tough, then we would not be able to make our things with that. If would not be tough, we will not be able to make, right? So what I'm saying is, if you see in a very minute sense also, we are dependent upon God. If you would not have made all the functions of the atoms and molecules as we see, electrons, protons, and everything, how would we have done anything at all? Nothing we would be able to do. Our mobiles would not function if EMW waves are not there in the atmosphere, right? So in that way, we can say that everything is being done by God only. Like for example, uh, till now also we don't know how exactly the earth gives so many plants and fruits and cereals and other things, grains and all, right? But it is giving. We don't know how the cow converts grass to wonderful food called milk. It's a miracle food. So why should we take credit for all these things which are actually done in the mother nature by Krishna himself? Why should we take credit for all this? Therefore, Krishna says, don't take credit for the work done. And what should be the motivation for our work? World is self-sufficient and will continue to operate forever, even without me. We require to do good work basically for helping ourselves, to purify our hearts, to elevate us and revive our original pure nature. जैसे अगर आपको मुकेश अंबानी बुलाता है अपने घर में पार्टी पर, उसका बर्थडे, अब उसको हम क्या दे सकते हैं? उसको कुछ दे ही नहीं सकते. So this guy has everything. So he doesn't need us, but we need connection with him, right? So why do you offer a gift to Mukesh Ambani? Because you want to make connection with him, right? He doesn't need me or you, anyone, right? So same thing. God does not need us. We need him. And because we need him, so we want to offer something. Like we offer him food, money. Do you think Krishna needs money? He doesn't need that. He's Lakshmipati. Krishna does he need our food? Oh, Yashoda and Radharani, they are making the best of the foods for him. Every time. So then why should we offer something to Krishna? Because we want his mercy. We are in need of his blessings. We are in need of his love. And he'll keep us with him permanently when we become pure hearted. And we are suffering in our life. with lust, old age, with lust, anger, disease, and all this kind of arrogance, pride, envy, right? So we need blessings of God to be able to free from all these vices. So that should be the motivation for our work towards Krishna. So actually by helping, by serving Krishna or by serving other devotees or this world, we are actually serving ourselves. How are we serving ourselves? Because we'll get blessings of Krishna. There's nothing like that. So one in knowledge understands his incompatibility with material nature and thus acts only for purification, unattached to materialisms. अगर हर कोई ये if everyone in this world accepts this attitude na, people will be so happy. Like why do we feel fearful when we study for our exams? Because we fear that it should not happen that we get less marks, isn't it? Why do people cheat? Oh, I should not get less marks. Why do people become envious of others? Oh, I should not get less marks, you should not get more than. See, the entire idea is that if we don't have to worry about the result, then how amazing life is. Like, for example, Prabhupada gave this wonderful example. Prabhupada said that imagine there is a sari shop. There is a shop where they sell saris. So there is this Sethji who is the owner of the shop. He's sitting and he has kept some men, some servants to assist him. So there is one assistant. So now some customers came, some ladies and all. So they are seeing so many saris one after another. And for 3 hours, this guy is showing all the different saris. And finally, they reject everything and then they go back. So now they came, they wasted the time of the shop. They took out so many saris, and like, and then they took nothing, right? Now, do you think this guy has to worry, this assistant? "Arey, for last 10 days, there has been no sale." No, he doesn't have to worry. Why? He's doing his endeavor and he knows that ultimately the shop owner, this Sethji, he will give me my salary. He told me to show the clothes to the customers and try to inspire them to buy it. He didn't, my job was not that, ultimately they have to buy only. No, I have to do my best endeavor. After that, even if I don't succeed, then my result is guaranteed. Similarly, even if Arjuna would have lost the battle, let us say Arjuna would have got killed, like Abhimanyu got killed, and Arjuna would have, Pandavas would have lost the battle. Still, Arjuna did not have anything to lose. He would have been very happy even if he loses the battle. Why? Because he endeavored as per Krishna's instruction. Krishna told me to try to fight this battle of Dharma Yudh. I fought. I tried my best. Okay, then I'm successful. I don't have to worry about the result. Say now I am a student. So what do? I put my best endeavors for studies. I prepare for the exam. I attend the college classes. Okay, everything. Now exam came. I diligently wrote the exam, and then result came. So maybe the professor who, I mean the teacher who checked my paper was not in good mood or whatever happened. So because of some reason they didn't give me so good marks. But then my world will not end there. I will not get devastated. Why? Because I did my best. I acted on Krishna's behalf. I did my best. Now, whatever result will come, Krishna will take care. That is the idea. So, what is Krishna trying to tell in this chapter to Arjuna is, you don't take sannyas from the endeavor. You do your endeavor. Do karma yoga. But do nishkam. Nishkam is no selfish purposes. And don't worry about the result. Whatever result comes, you offer that to me. That is the idea. So one doesn't have to worry. whether one externally succeeds or externally fails, one will internally succeed in bhakti. Why? Krishna will bless him. Okay, you did endeavor for me, so I'll. So Krishna feels obliged actually. Okay. So Krishna says, Yoga Yukto Vishuddhatma Vijitatma Jitendriya Sarvabhutatma Bhutatma Kurvam Api Na Lipyate. Which means Krishna is telling here that one should not get entangled in this world. Which means one should not fight for himself. See, the moment we fight for ourselves, we'll get entangled. जैसे वही example हो soldier का. If he uses his rifle for shooting someone for his own personal purpose, you know, like the neighboring person is making too much noise, so I'll kill him. So yeah, you can kill him, but then because you acted for your own selfish purpose, so now government will kill you. So best is not to act on the selfish purpose, rather to act on behalf of God, on behalf of Krishna. So when we do work for Krishna, that means we are not doing work. In what sense? Materially. Like that. So work for the Supreme Lord with detachment. That is called Nishkam Karma Yoga. Another thing Krishna says, seek purification also. Which means you seek knowledge and you seek the right practices. Right? So that, and you also seek what I should not do. Along with knowing what we should do, one should also try to know what I should not do, so that one can remain pure. And Krishna says, such a person, such a karma yogi like this will experience lot of peace in life. Shantim apnoti naishtikam. Okay. So there is this example given about King Gaya. What is the example? This is from Srimad Bhagavatam. So King Gaya gave full protection and security to the citizens. This is called Lalan and Palan. Rakshan, Lalan, Palan. Rakshan means like protection and security. Okay. Lalan Palan means like Palana means to provide for the sufficient food, sufficient and like proper place to stay, live. So all these kind of things. So this is called Palan. Then there is called Lalan. Lalan means like you distribute gift. Oh, sorry, here it is given also. See, Poshana, Prinana, Upalalana, Anushasana, all this different Sanskrit words in here. So, Prinana matlab distributing prizes and gifts to the citizens to satisfy them. Then Upalalana means call meetings. Okay. So sometimes you consult everyone. जैसे फैमिली में नहीं होता है, अरे अपने बेटी के लिए ऐसा रिश्ता है, तो तुमको क्या लगता है, तुमको क्या लगता है, ये लड़के का ऐसा एग्जाम में हो गया तो कौन सा कॉलेज लेना चाहिए, जो भी लाइक दैट. So calling everyone for the meetings and discussing with everyone what would they like, and also speaking very nicely to them. Then Anushasana means disciplining them or training them. So training and disciplining are also very important feature of a king to serve. Right? So see, why is this example given of King Gaya? So King Gaya also was very responsible, as far as his duties are concerned, his service is concerned. Right? He was serving the kingdom very nicely, taking responsibility of everything. But for himself, he didn't want anything. So he saw that Krishna has given him responsibility of being a king. So I will do the endeavors very nicely. But I will not accept unnecessary favor or unnecessary any, what do you say? Unnecessary any opulence. It is just for service. Today's politicians, opposite. No service, only personal agendas. Okay. Besides all this, King Gaya was a householder who strictly observed the rules and regulations of household life. He performed sacrifices and was an unalloyed pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. Although he was perfect, in all respects. He was not proud, nor was he anxious to rule the kingdom. Yeah. So he was detached. Not that I should only remain the king, I should get this, I should get that. No, nothing like this. He was only attached to doing his service. Okay, I want to do my responsibility of serving the citizens, but I don't want any fruit out of it. Then the second lesson, so this is the major lesson from the fifth chapter, the first lesson which we saw. Now the second lesson is T. What is T? T means three doers. Okay, what are the three doers? Let us say. So role of the soul, role of the material nature, role of the Lord. Initiator, facilitator, sanctioner. So these are the three verses, 13, 14, 15. इसका मतलब क्या है? So this is very simple to understand. Try to see it like this. So if you draw a triangle, so you can consider on the three points, like the three apex. So first is we, ourselves, Jiva. We are called as Jiva. Jiva means a living entity. Another point is Ishvara. Ishvara means the Supreme Lord. And another point is Prakriti. Prakriti means this material nature, this world around us. So Jiva, Ishvara, and Prakriti. Okay. Now, how actually things happen is that like who are we? We are the spirit soul. And what is our material body? Our material body is Prakriti. This material nature. Because you see, our material body came from earth, came from the different elements, and it will go back there also after our death, right? So Ishvara, Jiva, and Prakriti. There is God, there is this material world, including our body. Our body is product of material world, and there is ourselves, Jiva, living entity. Three stakeholders, three personalities. Now, how does anything happen? For example, you are able to solve a mathematical puzzle. How does it happen? Let us analyze. So let me share with you this whiteboard. Okay. So there is Jiva, then there is Ishvara, then there is Prakriti. Okay. So this is we, and this Prakriti is our body, and this is God, Krishna. Okay. So now in front of you there is a mathematical puzzle. What is a mathematical puzzle? 5 plus 7 equal to what? So it's a simple mathematical puzzle. Okay. So now the Jiva wants to solve it. Then what does Jiva do? Jiva wants his body, which includes his brain. So Jiva wants that to work and solve this for him. But then you see, sometimes you have the mathematical puzzle in front of you, but you don't get the idea, which means God has not sanctioned. So, okay, so just see this. Let me make another color. How do you choose color in this? Okay, I don't know how they choose color. I'll just see that. So this Jiva requests his body that please kindly do this or kindly walk to that place. But the body may not walk. उसका पैर काम नहीं कर रहा है, paralyzed हो गया या कुछ हो गया. So ultimately, Ishvara has to sanction. When Ishvara sanctions by the request of Jiva, then only the Prakriti works. Okay. So Jiva directly cannot manipulate the matter. जैसे, for example, we may make mobile phones, but with what do we make mobile phones? Like silicon and lead and other elements, but they are present in the material world. God has given them, right? Or you may eat food. Food is also given by God only in the nature. And how do you digest food? So if you want that all food should be digested today, but it may not happen. Our body may not cooperate. बिकॉज बॉडी वर्क्स ऑन सैंक्शन ऑफ ईश्वर. इसलिए तो कहते हैं कि अगर भगवान की इच्छा होगी तो आपको कोरोना लग जाएगा, नहीं इच्छा होगी तो नहीं लगेगा. कोई माइका लाल नहीं लगा सकता. लग भी जाएगा तो कुछ होगा नहीं आपको. See, don't misunderstand Gita's message, which means we should not think like, okay, if I'm smoking, then that is God's responsibility. No, sir. If you're smoking, it is not God's responsibility. But your ability to smoke is given by God, which means what? Jiva wants to smoke cigarette. So Jiva has made a desire. I want to smoke cigarette. Okay. So Paramatma, you see from inside our heart one voice comes. Hey, no, it is not good. You should not smoke cigarette. No, I want to smoke. Hey, I'm telling you, it is not. You should not smoke cigarette. No, I want to smoke. I want it. So then, okay, then Lord helps us to fulfill our desire. He says, okay, that shop is there, their cigarette is there. So what should I do? I want that cigarette. Okay. So then you say, I want to walk towards that shop. Okay, then God says to your body, okay, help him walk towards that shop. Then your the legs walk there. Then you say that, then the Jiva says, okay, I want to buy that. So I want to take out the money from my pocket. So then God says to the hand, a hand, go inside the pocket and pick up the money. So actually God only gives ability in our hands and legs. Then God only gives ability for us. You eat the food, then how will you digest it? God gives the ability. How will you remove it? Through your stool and urine, God gives the ability. So all the abilities, even to think of this 5 plus 7 equal to 12, the ability is given by God only. It's like, you sit in a auto rickshaw. So you look for an auto driver. Then when the auto wala comes, you say, वो बोलता है कहाँ जाना है? आप बोलते हो मुझे स्टेशन जाना है. तो ठीक है, चलो स्टेशन. So will you go? Yes, sir, I'll go. So you sit in his auto. He starts the engine. He drives, and then after half an hour you reach railway station. Then as you are getting down, you can't just walk away. First you have to pay him. So now somebody may question, why do you have to pay him? Whose auto it was? His auto. Who decided to drive the auto to the station? He decided. Who drove the auto to the station? He drove. So then why should you pay? Try to understand the question. Whose auto it is? It's his property. Who decided to drive it to the station from wherever you sat? He decided that he'll drive. Third, who drove it? He did. Everything is his only. He only decided, he only drove, it is his auto only. Why should I pay? He will say, sir, you should pay because it was your desire to go here and I agreed to, offer my service to you, to offer my property to you. Right? So that's why you should pay me. So see, the entire idea is that why should we ultimately take the responsibility of smoking the cigarette? तो देखो सिगरेट भगवान ने बनाई है दुनिया में और हमारी बॉडी है वो भी भगवान ने ही बनाया. Our body also belongs to God. Cigarette also belongs to God. And God is only giving us the ability to smoke also, like with our lungs and everything. Then why should we be responsible to that I smoke the cigarette? Because the desire was mine. And when we desire also originally, the Lord in the form of Paramatma in our heart tells us, no, you should not do this. It's not the best thing to do. Still we want to do. Okay. That is why we are responsible for it and then we suffer from it also. Okay. So I hope it makes sense. Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti. So who is Jiva? We. Who is Ishvara? Krishna or Paramatma. And who is Prakriti? Our body or this world around us. Which means cigarette is what? Cigarette is Prakriti. Our body is Prakriti. This air and this earth, Prakriti. We, the spirit soul, Jiva. Our Paramatma, Ishwar. Krishna, Ishwar. Okay? Yeah. So why we should know this thing very clearly, so that we don't unnecessarily become proud in this world. And while we are not being proud, see, when we know that, see, like you did some business, or you did some job, or you made some idea, so you will not become proud. Why? अरे भगवान ने अक्ल दी, भगवान ने ये प्रकृति दी, मैंने मोबाइल बनाया तो क्या हुआ, मोबाइल का एलिमेंट्स तो भगवान ने ही दिए, और मोबाइल फंक्शन कर रहा है, दैट इज ऑल्सो बिकॉज ऑफ गॉड हैज प्लेस्ड दैट सिस्टम इन द एटमॉस्फेयर. So I'll not become proud, and I'll not say that this whole money belongs to me. Oh, I could earn this money because God has made Prakriti like this. Yeah, if God doesn't allow electrons to flow in the wires, and none of us can do any work on our laptops. Right? If God doesn't give us the right IQ, God has given us unique IQs of our own capacities based on our previous life. So the entire idea is, once we understand that the entire credit doesn't belong to me for whatever good things I do, for whatever successes I have, for whatever possessions I have, then we'll start offering to Krishna. Okay, Krishna, you actually, this is yours only. You kindly accept that. Plus, second thing, will not have unnecessary headweight that, oh, I am the doer, I am the doer. So we should be responsible to do our part. Our part is endeavor. But Krishna says that you should not be attached to getting the fruit. Like somebody's parents. So as parents, the message of the Gita is that you should be attached to taking care of your family, which means you do your business or your household duties very nicely, and you give your kids the best training, very good education, provide all their basic needs and everything. But be detached. Be detached means tomorrow he may not reciprocate. He may not be there with you in his life. He may run away somewhere else. You try your best to teach him, but tomorrow he may become a spoiled person. He may become addicted to wrong things. So you try your best, but still he may not be the ideal kid as he should be, right? So if you understand that it was not totally in your hand, you did your part thoroughly best. After that, the rest is in his hands and in the hands of God. It's his choices. Then you can be peaceful that, yeah, Krishna is watching him, and this Krishna must be knowing whatever choices he has made in his life. I will continue to do my part, my endeavor, my service. At the same time, I have to know that not everything is in my control. Otherwise, you think that no, your kid will be totally in your control, but actually he's not in control. Then you will become frustrated. Sometimes people kill each other. Sometimes people do suicide. Why do they do suicide? They think, oh, I'm not able to control this situation. Let me do suicide. Yeah, but you are not expected to control it also. You can only control what is your responsibility, what is your endeavor. You cannot control the other factors. That is why be peaceful. So this karma yoga for Krishna, karma yoga in Krishna consciousness, this can help us to act in this world with responsibility, with enthusiasm, okay, with diligence, with intelligence, but also with detachment. And thus it will keep us happy in ups as well as downs, in good times as well as bad times, in success as well as defeat. I hope I could explain it properly. Actually, Gita is very simple. So if you're not able to understand anything, it must be because I am not able to explain that point properly. So if something is not clear, you can write in the chat box and I can try to again discuss it with an example. So let us go ahead to the later parts. Yeah. Oh, this is the yeah. See, this is Ishvara, as we were discussing now. In the middle, you see there is this Vishnu. This is Ishvara. This left hand side is Jiva, V, the Atma. And the right hand side is Prakriti, this material nature. Okay. Dekho, this knowledge also helps us to not become upset with others unnecessarily. Like somebody becomes angry, and in anger, he's speaking nonsense word, he's abusing, and he's acting very aggressively. So we should not become upset with him. Why? Because when one becomes angry, he loses his own control. His control goes in the hands of mode of passion. So just like आपने देखा है कठपुतली का show, there's a puppet show. See on the right hand side there is this three young ladies. So they have these ropes, and on the ground there are two, three people. So they are acting as Kathaputli. Kathaputli means puppets. So sometimes it happens, na, like we become angry and then we speak something which we never wanted to speak. Later on, we lament for whole life. I should not have spoken like this to him. Or sometimes some people do rape, like sexual rape and also out of lust. But then sometimes there are some good people, but then in some wrong association or wrong atmosphere, they get affected. And for few moments, like for half an hour, 1 hour, they get too much affected. They do some rape or whatever, and then they lament for whole life. They say, I never wanted to do that, but somehow, it just, I don't know what happened to me. I just, in that moment, I became very lusty and I just lost control. I don't know. Or sometimes the college boys, they tell to us that, sir, sometimes we practice artificial methods of sex. And then every time we do it, we feel guilty and we don't want to repeat it again. But don't know what happens again next time. Some kind of vega comes, some thought comes, and then I'm not able to control myself. Similarly, one government employee, he was telling me that Prabhuji, I don't know. Before becoming devotee, I had this habit of taking bribes. Now, even if I have to just do one sign or tell some information to someone without bribe, I would not work on it. So it just became a habit. Even after I become devotee, so out of habit, I just first ask the person, give me something. Or one devotee was telling in our temple only, one temple of ISKCON. He was telling that Prabhuji, I don't know what has happened. I have got this habit of speaking lies, and I don't know what happens. Say it is 12:15 p.m. So somebody asks me, okay, what is the time? Somehow or other, I'll tell him something else only. I'll tell him 12:20 or 12:10. I'll never tell him 12:15. He said it has become my habit to say lies. I can never say truth as it is. So I always speak lies. so so this is the meaning of that. Sometimes we lose control. Actually, we don't know what we are doing. We don't know what we are speaking. We don't know what is that force. What is that pressure which is acting upon us. Why do we again and again fall prey to that? Why? That is because of the three modes of material nature. We become puppets in the hands of lust, anger, pride, envy, illusion, greed, all that. And later on we lament. So I was telling you that if you know this, that somebody who is very upset, who is very angry, in that moment he may fight, he may shout upon us, but you should not take it very seriously. You should not become his enemy. Why? If you are able to see that he is under the influence of something, जैसे somebody is drunkard, so he has drunk a lot in the bar. Now he comes to you and then he starts misbehaving, like this. So then what do you say? He's totally drunk, he's not in his senses, so that's why don't mind, it's okay, forgive him. Similarly, we can easily empathize with others. Oh, he behaved like this because he was feeling so bad about this situation. So we will not become frustrated with other people, and we'll be able to empathize with them, help them in such circumstances when they misbehave also. Because behind, like they say, no, every saint had a past and every sinner has a future. If somebody is not behaving properly with us, there must be some reason behind it. When we try to see him with the eyes of compassion and with the eyes of knowledge, like this, as we are getting in this chapter, then we'll be able to help him out without ourselves getting affected. Hmm. Okay, let us go ahead. So this says on your screen you must be able to see Muhammad Ali, world heavyweight boxing champion. He was at one point of time very famous. So he once claimed, "I am the greatest. Even God cannot defeat me," or something like that. He said, like, I'm indispensable. Okay, but you see, later on, as he got old age, he got Parkinson's disease, which means he's not able to lift even a cup of tea or coffee. Like the hand shakes. You know, so somebody may claim that I am the greatest, but the time factor is there to defeat us. So this material nature, you know, it actually overpowers everybody. So therefore, we should know that we will also need to be seen properly by others. We should never become proud, because tomorrow, otherwise, the source of that pride will be taken away. Say, we sing very nicely, but tomorrow you may get sore throat. Now you cannot sing nicely. Okay, so we should know that means the power of singing was given to me. Because right now I want the power of singing to work, but it is not working. That means it was given to me. Hmm. Right? Like one may be making calls from the mobile very nicely, call here, call there, browse the internet, but that power is given by your company, Jio or Airtel or jo bhi hai, like that. So one should not become proud and one should not judge others, right? So one should not think that he is in control. We are not in control. We can only do our endeavor as per the situation. And that is why people become stressed out when they think that, "Arey, I should be in control and everything should be according to my expectation. Everyone should behave according to my expectation." When they won't, when they don't, then we get frustrated. Yeah. So we should understand that I should not become proud because I am not the only factor in the performance of my activities. And I should not judge others because they are also not the only factor in the performance of their activities. Okay. Okay. So one question is there uh, by Ayushi. What if another one always does so? Should we just keep on forgetting and always helping? Okay, very good and relevant question. She's asking that, okay, I should try to do my part. I should try to focus on my role, and I should not judge others. But other person may continue to act in a wrong way, and should I just keep on forgetting and forgiving him, and should I just go on helping him or her or whatever? So where should be the line of tolerance? Where should I draw a line? Yeah. So actually, the tolerance in this world, Shastras say, has to be a positive one. What is the meaning of positive tolerance? Like, for example, I think I had shared with all of you. I'll again share. Sometimes, like when I travel na, in trains or uh, by road or by flight, so mostly I travel by train. So there are a lot of incidents which help us to learn something. Like one time, I had my seat in the train booked. This was in Bangalore. I was traveling from Bangalore to Mysore or Mysore to Bangalore. I don't remember, one of the two journeys. So I means we were like many of us. So we had our seats booked, reserved. We went, and the train was there. We went inside and we tried to sit on our seats, but there were people already sitting there, and they said, "We will not allow you. You have to stand." So we actually were like quite shocked actually that how can they behave like this. And then so much we requested, we threatened them, we tried to show them the rules, this that, nothing doing. TT, we tried to search for TT also said, "Arey main kuch nahi kar sakta." What can you do? So sometimes when such situations come, or sometimes some situation came, so you have to sit near the toilet and travel, what can you do? Or sometimes somebody near you is making so much noise, he's switching on the light in the night also, and his small child is crying for whole night, or he's playing. Nowadays people keep playing this music on their phones for long time. Like everybody around you is having a smartphone and is going on playing the music. So you can't sleep at night even if you want to sleep early. So in such moments, one is we may become frustrated that array I'm going on tolerating. This guy is not understanding. So yeah, that's what happens in the moment. But Shastras say that at that time, what we should think, oh, look at this entire material world. How many things can I control? So that should lead us to a philosophical visualization of our life and this entire world. And at that time, when we deeply contemplate, we'll realize that our only relationship is with God. So our relationship is not there with this world or with this person or that person. And this world is actually not meant for us. This is simply a foreign place. Like when you face some discomfort in train, what do you do? Like say your fan is not working above your seat, है ना? And your seat is little bit torn off. There is some gandagi, some dirtiness on the floor. So what do you think? Array, it's a 6 hours journey. Why to take it so seriously? There's this discomfort, that discomfort. But let me tolerate it for 6 hours. Anyway, this is a temporary thing. Now I'll reach my home. That's it. So that is why you are willing to tolerate, right? You don't mind. You don't keep it in the heart. Similarly, what happens if we think of our entire life from the eternity point of view? This one lifetime is nothing. It's a small, it's a flash only. And somebody misbehaving with us or not behaving properly, not a big deal. Another thing, that person is misbehaving not necessarily with us, but he may be misbehaving with everybody. So there's nothing personal out there. And even if there is something personal, basically that will help us to have right expectations from this world. Okay, I should not expect this world to behave very nicely, but I should do my part. So this will help us become detached from the expectations. See, the entire frustration comes in this world due to expectations. Expectations lead to frustration. So we should do our responsibility, our roles as best as possible, as ideally as possible. And and then not all the time others may reciprocate. So in that case, what do we do? In that case, we should, from where we are getting reciprocation, we can more focus there. There will be people from whom will be getting reciprocation, and from where we are not getting reciprocation, if that is agitating us, making us angry, upset, disturbed, then we can reduce our interactions there. Because if we become upset, if we become disturbed, then it affects our own behavior also. So why should our behavior be compromised because of another person's behavior, right? Somebody is not studying for the exam. Why should we allow ourselves to be also inspired to not study for exam? So that person is not playing his role properly. Okay, but I should still go on playing my role properly. Our parents also did so, right? And if parents do their role many times properly and the kids don't reciprocate, so what? Whole life parents go on doing their duties properly. Now that doesn't mean we should be impractical, because if we are getting frustrated with another person, we can express in a polite language, and then we have to know that we have to invest our relationship somewhere else, elsewhere. Otherwise, one day the pot of frustration will break. Okay, but if we can get philosophically realizations, life lessons from that, then it'll be very nice actually. Like I'll tell you one example in the end. There is one friend of mine. Friend means he also comes to the temple here. So he's a businessman. He's quite elder to me. He must be like 4 5 years elder to me. So he has a shop of clothes, textile shop. So a retail shop in the market. So he has some 4 5 assistants, like people who help him for showing the clothes to the uh, customers. So there is one of his employees. He is always like fighting with him, quarreling with him. You know that नहीं नहीं इस चीज को यहाँ क्यों रखना चाहिए, वहां रखना चाहिए, ये स्कीम अभी क्यों लगाया हूँ, तब लगाना चाहिए. Always he is having some like disagreements now. So then one time I was asking him, "Arey, this fellow is always so much misbehaving with you. Why don't you remove him? You know, you can keep some other person, and you're the owner." He says, "नहीं नहीं, ये जो एक बंदा है ना, उसके कारण मैं हमेशा हर चीज 2-3 बार सोच के करता हूँ." तो actually his being critical or his being never appreciative of my decisions actually brings out better version out of me, actually keeps me very thoughtful, actually helps me to not be lazy. So he could see a contribution in that person. Actually he said his presence is very important, I want to keep him always. So this is actually a reality that it helps. Otherwise if everyone becomes our yes men, then we may start having a wrong expectation of the world we are living in, or we may not be triggered to bring out something better from inside us. So but one most important thing is that we should chant Lord's holy names regularly, like this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. If we chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra regularly, then by being in touch with the Supreme Lord, you will find that we will get such mental power to be able to face all these things. Because in our life, so many things will come here and there in our personal and professional relationships. So, but the root source of all abilities, all divine qualities is God Himself. So, be in touch with Him by chanting this Hare Krishna. So just we'll take last 5 to 10 minutes. About to finish. Let us go ahead. So this is exactly what I was just now talking in this slide. He's telling liberation by focusing on the super soul. So if you can connect to your super soul, then you can get liberated from all that frustration which comes by dealing with other people. So how should we focus on the super soul? So Krishna is telling Arjuna, you keep remembering me and you fight for me. Okay. तो देन यू नॉट, जैसे जैसे आप देखो आजकल तो ऐसा नहीं होता है, लेकिन पहले होता था कुछ सालों पहले तक कि इंडिया में दोज लाइक व्हेनेवर देयर इज अ मैरिज, स्पेशली लाइक एनीवे इट वुड हैपन ना, लाइक व्हेनेवर देयर इज अ मैरिज, सो द गर्ल्स साइड, so they would have had to tolerate many of the behaviors of the boys side, like the girl's father, or the girl's brother, they would be asked by the boys side people, hey, please get this for us right now, we want that thing right away, like little bit nakhra they would show, and sometimes they would actually little bit be insulting or disrespectful also, so actually the shastras say, sorry, this Gita says to us that if you focus on the Supreme Lord, then you can tolerate this world very easily. Similarly, you can understand this by that example. Like you are the brother of the girl who's getting married, the bride. So you love her and you know that this marriage is important for her. So because you love her, therefore you are happily willing to go through the inconveniences and the difficult behaviors of the groom's party, right? You don't feel any enmity for the bridegroom and his people. Why? Because you know that this is ultimately going to be beneficial for your sister. So out of love for your sister, it doesn't appear that you're going through some tolerance. It is just, yeah, आपको ये भी चाहिए, please, अरे वो चलो लेकर आते हैं, you become very flexible, you become very moldable, you become very humble. Why? Because you love one person. So if your love for your sister is more than you are feeling inconvenienced by the behavior of those people, then you will easily be able to accept their behavior whatsoever. Similarly, if you love your parents, you are a student in the college and you have come away from your hometown, and there may be different different wrong things like drugs or other different things may be present there in the college, and there may be some inconveniences like hostel food is not good or this or that, so many other things may be there. Why do you tolerate all these things and continue to study? Why do you keep away from wrong association and wrong habits? Because parents want you to. So you see, because of love for your parents and because of your desire to serve them and please them, because of your desire to become a successful person and give them more money in their life, more comforts, because of that desire you are willing to undergo all difficulties. Because the mother and father love their child, they are willing to undergo difficulties, but they want to give the best to the child. Similarly, if we develop little affection for our super soul, our supreme Lord in our life, then this entire world, then in our entire life, in all situations, will become happy. No issues only. Okay, whatever I got, that is the best. So it's not like a inferiority complex type situation. It's a very intelligent situation. It's a very realistic situation. So more of it we'll learn in the chapters 9th and 12th. But I hope you could appreciate that point, that by focusing on the Supreme Lord and our eternal relationship, our real spiritual nature, the things of this world, the incidents of this world, they don't become so. I mean, it's okay, no big deal. Okay. And this last two shlokas we'll see. There's one 18th one and the 29th one. So this 18th one is, you also try to recite this. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Shapake Cha Pandita Samadarshina. This is our third lesson, equal vision. Equal vision means Pandita Samadarshina. Pandita Samadarshina means, see, this Pandit is not that Pandit ji. This Pandit is learned man. So one who is really learned with spiritual knowledge, Samadarshina, he will see everyone equally because he has Vidya. See, real Vidya leads to Vinaya. Vinaya means humility. Like you become respectful to others, you don't disrespect others. That is the essence. Humility means I don't consider myself great and I see greatness in everybody else also. Not in the sentimental way, but in the realistic way. How? He's telling that just like you see in this picture, like this Brahmana is there, this devotee, na? And then he's telling that, see, in the heart of the cow, there is a soul, and there is super soul also. And in the heart of the elephant also, there is a soul, and there is super soul also. And in the heart of that hunter also, there is a soul and super soul. So everybody is a soul, everybody is part and parcel of Krishna. But right now they are playing different roles. Somebody is elephant, somebody. जैसे आप ड्रामा नहीं करते हैं, ड्रामा तो ड्रामा में कभी कोई एलिफेंट बन गया, कभी कोई प्रिंसिपल बन गया, कभी कोई स्टूडेंट बन गया. अब और अगले दिन आप ड्रामा कर रहे हो तो जो कल स्टूडेंट था वो आज प्रिंसिपल बन गया, जो कल प्रिंसिपल था वो आज स्टूडेंट बन गया. So every day in another set of new drama, there can be another role for the same person. Similarly, this entire world is a drama only. And every day we are taking different roles actually. So in this lifetime, in this particular day of drama, somebody may be playing a certain role, but inside our heart we should know that ultimately this person is not elephant or cow or Brahmana or Hindu or Muslim or rich or poor or anything. He's a spirit soul. Mamaivangsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manashishani indrani prakriti sthane karshati. He's a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And as per his karma, he has got this temporary body. But that doesn't mean he's always like that. You know? So that is the meaning of equal vision. So then we'll not judge or hate anyone. Never. Because we'll be able to see them in connection with the Supreme Lord. Pandita Samadarshina. Okay. Going ahead. This is another thing in the 22nd verse. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantavant kaunteya nate shuramate buddha. Somebody may say, sir, you told to focus on the Supreme Lord. I cannot focus. Why? Because in this world, my mind gets attracted to so many other things like drinking wine, enjoying with young women, and so many other things like eating this, doing that, all the nonsense, dirty, sense gratification activities. So actually, Krishna is telling here that you should focus on Bhagwan, not on uh, sinful activities of this world. Sinful activities of this world, in the beginning, they appear to be very attractive, but eventually they lead to misery. And focusing on the Lord in the beginning may appear to be not so attractive, but in the long run, that is the most amazing thing. जैसे हम नहीं बोलते NP diode और PN diode in electronics we say na. So similarly, Krishna consciousness is poison in the beginning but nectar in the end. Initially we may get अरे दारू नहीं पीना है, illicit affairs नहीं करना है, gambling नहीं करना है, too much. But actually eventually you will be able to relish this, you'll be able to be thankful for it. Like in Krishna consciousness we get up early every day, we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we take bath every day, we wear fresh clothes. So initially it may look like, hey, too much, huh? Get up early, do this, do that. Yeah, it may look like very big thing, but when you keep doing it, you will be able to thank Krishna very easily. So actually all the problems come because of unregulated mind and senses. We're not able to control our mind and senses. So in this verse, Krishna is telling, control your mind and senses. Why? Otherwise, dukkha yona evate. In the womb of sense gratification lies the child of dukkha, misery. If you do illicit affairs, or if you do drinking, smoking, gambling, any such thing, very soon you'll face some misery in your life. जैसे एक लड़की प्रेग्नेंट हो जाती है, तो प्रेग्नेंट हो गई तो भाई 9 महीने बाद बच्चा पक्का आएगा, डिलीवरी होगी. इसी तरह से when you do dirty activities, that is like making your life pregnant with misery. So after some time delivery will happen, misery will come in your life. Okay, therefore Krishna is telling, stay away from papa. Tolerate the agitations. Arjuna is telling, my mind is telling, but go and drink, go and do this. Krishna is tolerate it, because it comes and goes ना. गलत थॉट्स आएंगे, चले भी जाएंगे, आपको टॉलरेट करना सीखो. जैसे आप खुजली को टॉलरेट करते हो, you feel like itching, but then tolerate it. Okay, and the last shloka for 5th chapter, peace formula. So we saw step today, 4 lessons, and then the last we don't have the time to do revision, just like the last 2 minutes. 5.29, 29th verse of 5th chapter, probably the most important verse of this chapter, peace formula. So this is the last slide practically. Okay, so what is this verse? Bhuktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram surdam sarvabhutanam nyatva mam shantim rachyati. Krishna is telling that if you want to attain peace, shantim rachyati, then you should simply understand these 3 things. What are the 3 things? Bhuktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram surdam sarvabhutanam nyatva mam, which means telling first thing you should know, O Arjuna, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, that God or Krishna is the proprietor of everything. Okay, and therefore he knows everything. Second, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam, everything is for his enjoyment and everything is under his control. So first thing, Krishna is the proprietor of everything and he knows everything. Second thing, Krishna is the enjoyer of everything and therefore he is in total control. And third thing, he is Surdam Sarvabhutanam. He is the best well-wishing friend of everyone, all of us. So if you take 3 equations like you do in mathematics, 3 equations, x plus y plus z equal to 15. Okay, x plus y plus z equal to 15. Then x minus y minus z equal to 1. X minus y minus z equal to 1. X plus 2y equal to 22.
So now you got 3 equations and 3 variables. Then what do? You say okay, now I can clearly get answer, है ना? 3 इक्वेशन है, 3 वेरिएबल है, और फिर आप तीनों को एक ही इक्वेशन में डाल देते हो. कैसे? कि भाई x, you do the, you solve, you know, by replacement and all, and then what do you get? You finally get the answers like x equal to 8, y equal to 7, z equal to 0. That's what you will get in this. Similarly, if I use these 3 equations which Krishna has given, what are the 3 equations? Krishna is a proprietor of everything and he knows everything. Second, Krishna is the enjoyer of everything and therefore he is in control of everything. Third, Krishna is our best well-wishing friend and therefore he knows what we are looking for. Now, if you combine all these 3 equations and convert it into a single equation, then the end and the resultant equation will be that whatever is happening in our life is the best for us. How? So what is happening in our life, does Krishna know? Yeah, he knows. Why? Because Bhoktaram Yadne Tapasam and Surdam Sarvabhutanam, he knows everything. He's omniscient. Okay, so he knows that I need this, or I am in this situation. Fine, but is he able to control everything? Like, can he change this situation? Oh yes, he can control everything. Is Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. He is he's Sarva Karana Karana. Without his sanction, nothing can happen only. He is in control of everything. Oh, really? But then still wrong things are happening in my life. That means he doesn't like me. He is not my well-wisher. Oh, no, sir. Surdam Sarva Bhutana. He is your well-wisher. Like, just like our parents. Do our parents, like a small child, do parents not know that the child wants more chocolate or more ice cream, and he wants to watch TV till late night in the night, doesn't want to go to school? Do parents not know? They know. Can they not do it? Can they not allow him, okay beta, watch TV 24 hours, eat chocolate only, eat ice cream only, no need to go to school, no need to take bath? They can allow, So are they not his well-wishers then? See, they know his desires, they can happily allow it to happen, still they're not doing. That means they must not be wanting to see him happy. No, they want to see him happy. Then why are they doing it? Because they know this is not good for him. What is good for him, that they will arrange. Similarly, you see that Krishna knows everything about our life. And then whatever he arranges in our life is as per the situation of our previous choices. Okay, this guy needs now. Now the only thing is, do we have that faith? If the child develops the faith in the parents that what they are saying to me, what they're arranging for me is the best for me, then the child can take so much good advantage, and he can make his life extremely successful. If he simply gets that staunch faith, parents ने बोला है अच्छा होगा ये, बेटा ये नहीं खाना मत खाओ, बेटा अभी सो जाओ, he can so much learn the right way of life. But then the child, he doesn't. Similarly, if we can develop this faith in Krishna, then we can understand whatever is happening in my life is happening for the best, and I don't have to worry for the rest. Krishna will take care. I should just see that right in the present moment, I should do my part very properly, very responsibly. Okay, so that's the idea. That's what Krishna was trying to tell Arjuna, that see, you can be peaceful if you simply see. Krishna was telling Arjuna, you don't want to fight and you are not peaceful. Duryodhana is fighting for himself, he is not peaceful. So then how to be peaceful? You fight, but for me, knowing that I will take care of everything. You don't worry. So this helped to calm down Arjuna very much. So this is the peace formula which this 5th chapter is teaching. Hare Krishna. So thank you all very much, especially for the extra 15 minutes which we spent today. So we'll meet next time for chapter number 6. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.